Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Of course, back here with Mark. We're gonna do a cool little video today, talk about kind of Chile in general. Seen a lot of questions about kind of Chile as a mining region, and who better to talk to than Mark? I know he's been there for a while, so figured that's what we do today. Talk about some hopeful updates at the end. But first things first, Mark, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, good. In Ontario, it's starting to feel like summer. We're having a few mid 20 days. So, knock on wood, it continues. But of course, Canadian kind of spring always throws a few things at you. But yeah, things are good.
Hopefully things start to open up soon, and hopefully we get some COVID shots spread across Canada so we can have some fun like the U.S. does.
Exactly, exactly. Well, here we go. Without further ado, where do you want to where do you want to start? Getting a lot of messages kind of about just Chile in general, kind of as a mining region.
Sure.
A lot of people just would love to kind of hear more about it, and figured you can probably say a bunch about the region in general with the success you've had throughout your career.
Sure. Well, I guess talking in general about Chile, one of the biggest topics that's going on in Chile right now, which probably is a pressure on some of the mining companies, is there's a Chilean proposed tax on copper projects, and Chile derives over 50% of their GDP from copper. It's a copper country. It's where the majority of copper goes, and obviously because of, I would say, COVID, a country like Chile has suffered, as every country has. Some countries, and we don't need to name anybody particular south of our border, that has a printing press and can print their way out of problems and accrue debt. Countries like Chile and other countries like Peru and other southern countries, they don't have the luxury of the liquidity and the demand for their currency, and they actually have to pay off for debt. So one of the ways that Chile's looking to offset some of the damages COVID has caused, I think, is to impose a tax on copper mines because that's their largest source of cash flow. So that's had a little bit of negativity on the copper mining side. The good news is it doesn't impact gold mining or silver mining, so we're good. We're good in that area, and I think the tax that was proposed was pretty hefty. And from what the feedback I'm getting from most operators out there are, well, it's already built in that there's going to be an increase in taxes. It's just not going to be what some politicians are talking about, something like a 75% tax, which would mean every copper mine would shut down in Chile. Copper prices probably go through the roof because Chile produces such a large amount of copper and the other mines would be able to take it on. And so they would then have no source of cash, which would make no sense. So I think the copper side will get taxed. One good thing on the COVID side is Chile was pretty early on to get a lot of the vaccines distributed. So that's a good thing. I think, as of last quarter, they were ahead of Canada, which is, we're a G7 country and we're not doing too well on the vaccine side, in my opinion, and probably most Canadians.
Yeah.
But Chile is doing really well. They did a lockdown in April. They extended it into May, so there was no foreigners allowed. So one of the challenges that we face, that we've talked to in the past, is we were trying to get our QP from Denver to site so he can sign off on the resource estimate that all of our investors are waiting for. Um, but and then this, I guess, leads out of the Chile side, but basically says, hey, they're still under lockdown. We can't send the guy down there, but there's existing talent down there, and we actually hired I guess as part of an update. Unfortunately, I'm moving into a little bit. We've hired a guy from AMEC locally to go down to the site and do the site visit and help co-author the report. So we'll have to kind of wrangle with the Securities Commission here to get it pushed through. We believe, and our lawyers believe it meets their legal criterias. So there's things that you need to do to be to adapt, I guess, because of operating in foreign jurisdictions. Chile internally is opening up though to internal travel, which is good, to locals. So we think they're doing a good job, and I think they're going to kind of open it up to external travel at the end of this month. So I think Chile, from a COVID perspective, is in good shape. Um, our project and gold or silver isn't impacted by the proposed tax. Um, and obviously, there's a lot of good talent in Chile and pools of people to work. So, I mean, we like operating in Chile. We like the environment we're in. There's projects nearby that are in exploration mode, and we'll talk a little more after about Norsemont where we're at because we've made um, a lot of progress actually. We've had a lot of staff going on site on our project and doing work. So, and we'll get into that, I guess, later on.
Yeah, I mean, how much later on did you want to go? We can go into it now if you want.
Well, I guess I mean, like for me, there's not a lot for me to talk to on Chile because it's more of a political situation,
Mhm.
and I think we're all supportive. And Chile's been a great place to operate. It's a top 10, Fraser Institute investment country for the last few decades. So I think they're too smart to mess that up. They're not that short sighted. So I mean, politically speaking, I think we'll be fine. Uh, Everything's moving ahead on our project. And I have investments in a large Chilean copper asset down there, which is why I keep tabs on all that side. And I've seen their stock drop from being, it has dropped 20-30% because of this stuff, um, until I guess a tax gets settled and then people know where they stand. Markets kind of step ahead of themselves sometimes,
Yeah.
usually oversold is what I would say. Yeah, so I mean, like we're good. We like what's going on in Chile. COVID situation's good. Vaccine situation's good. Access to data now is opened up for us. Access to our projects opened up for us. So
Safe to
I
say,
think,
expecting a good like second half of the year. Things are going to open. Your
yeah,
crystal ball looks good. Happy to get things back and back and rolling.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, talking about we put out some news about some of the work that we had our team on site over a month ago. We've been doing some sampling, so I'll talk a little bit about the update on the Norsemont side. Is that to get our resource estimate brought up to snuff? One of the weaknesses was the QA/QC that wasn't really done properly. So we decided to sample 10% of the samples, which now we've decided to do up to 12%, I think it is, just to be safe, or 15. So we're going to be doing about 12,000 samples, which we've done 9 already. So by the end of this month, we'll be finished that exercise and we will have done about 12,000 plus samples, and have some news flow coming out from reassaying these samples to uh, compare to what the previous data was. So hopefully, we get better numbers, the same numbers, hopefully not worse numbers, but also get sign off on our resource estimate. So we're pretty confident that we'll be able to be able to put a resource estimate in front of the BC Securities Commission next month, and then it's going to be a little bit of I guess a process with the Securities Commission to approve it. So I would say, easily next quarter, we'll definitely have our resource estimate out come hell or high water. So that's a good piece of news for us. Um, we are doing work on the project actively. We've approved budgets. We've been spending a lot of money on the project. So there should be some news flow about the work and some of the results we've been doing. We've been doing some work on, we reestablished our weather station down there. We did some work on baseline studies on our water. We approved a geophysics program, which we're going to be rolling out next month. So we're starting to roll out geophysics so we can tighten in on drilling targets. We have an existing 39 pads. That's the exciting part, that are on the project that we'd like to drill on, and we've submitted the appropriate materials to allow us to drill on those 39 pads. We're still waiting for final confirmation from the government. So that would let us do a couple of holes per pad, up to about 100 holes, 2.5 holes per pad. So that would be our initial drill program, which would be very exciting get going on with support of this geophysics program that we're rolling out as we speak. And then we also have put together, based on our last news release, we selected an engineering firm to put together a comprehensive environmental impact study, which allows us to then go out and put hundreds of pads or thousands of pads, whatever we want, hundreds of pads to drill thousands of holes. And that would allow us to kind of drill over the next couple of years and never stop drilling if we wanted to. So that's in the works as well and moving forward. So that's really good. And what else is there? I guess we put out some news recently on extending some warrants that we had. We had 75-cent warrants that were out of the money. They were coming to expire in June 1st. A lot of shareholders were inquiring about it, and we made a case to the board, and the board decided to do a short extension on those warrants. So we're hoping that based on resource estimate, drilling permit, our geophysics program, and the price of gold's been moving in the right direction, we're hoping that things work out well and become, those warrants could help bring in some additional capital for the company and generate some value for our early investors. What else is there? I guess I think that's all the public stuff that we can
That's a good
talk to
update,
in
Mark.
general.
Thank you.
there is plans, like I talked last time about our dumps that we're working on, which we have some dumps on there that we're talking to engineering firms and looking to see if we can put that into production. That's a really big piece of the puzzle that we're working towards. So we're still working on trying to get work done on our dumps. We talked about potentially sonic drilling and other things. So once we get this Carta Pronencia done and get our ability to drill on those platforms, we can also turn around and do sonic drilling on the dumps and other work, sampling the dumps and whatnot. That would give us a lot of data and allow us to make decisions for a potential partner to put those dumps into production and work towards cash flow situation.
Yeah. Really good. That's a
lot of good
awesome
irons in the
update,
fire
Mark.
right now.
Thank you for this. Obviously, I crushed it.
Yeah.
I know, did a short kind of chilly. Awesome to hear that. Obviously, not too worried about the copper tax, and even more interesting that going into the economics, you just don't think it makes sense to be what people are extreme, thinking about potentially doing, which is awesome. And obviously, thanks for this update, and looking forward to knock on wood, some of those updates come into the market, and we'll be able to do some more cool videos.
Absolutely. And the price of gold also has been
Yes,
getting a little better, which is kind of nice. That's a little bit of wind underneath our wings that we were looking for. So
yeah.
Definitely appreciate your time and look forward to giving you some updates in short order after we get a little bit of news out on some of the work we're doing. So that'll be fun the next time.
Awesome. Well, hey, again, thanks so much for doing this. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to chatting again soon.
Perfect.